up, DB Besties? Welcome to the Design Bundles YouTube channel. My name's Laura, and if you're new here, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon because we are back here every week with all the crafty tutorials, tips, and tricks, and even some crafty business tutorials to help you get on your way to turning your hobby into a business. I'm really excited because that is exactly what we're talking about today, and we're specifically talking about how to generate passive income by selling digital files. Once you create the file and you have it on your website or on your Etsy or wherever you choose to sell, you're able to just let people purchase. The file is automatically delivered to them and then you make the money off of it. So there's no creating of the item, there's no packaging, there's no shipping. It truly is passive income once you create the file, list it, and do whatever marketing you're gonna do. So today, what we're gonna do is talk about that by going through the process of what it would look like to create some digital files, how you might create that digital file, where you might create it, how to know what's a good product to sell, and then finally how to list that item and do so effectively so it actually makes sales. So the first thing I want to talk about is what is a digital file and what kinds of digital files could you actually sell that would be useful for crafters, because there is quite a wide variety. We're going to talk about just a couple today because these are the ones that I think are the easiest to start with, and those would be sticker files, which you would create a PNG or a flat image and you would sell it either as a sticker sheet or an individual sticker file, and you would most likely include the PNG, the JPEG, and the PDF version of that file. You could also sell sublimation files, which are the same file type as stickers. This would be PNG, JPEG, or PDF files, and you would probably include all of those versions for the consumer. And then the third are the most complicated to create, but I think the most rewarding, and those are SVG cut files. And for those, you would typically include the .svg file, a .dxf file, and then you would also include the flat versions of that in case someone wants to use it for sublimation or as a sticker. So you would also include JPEG, PNG, and PDF. Really quickly, if all those file types are just swimming about in your head and you have no idea what I'm talking about, let me break that down really quickly in the easiest way I know how. There are two different types of images that you can create online or that can be created to use for crafting. There's flat images, which are things that we use for sublimation or stickers. There's no layers involved. It is just like it sounds, it is a flat image. All the detail of that image is in the color and the texture and detailing of the actual photo, but it's not separated by layer, it's flat. And those are PNG, JPEG, and PDF files. The alternate side of that coin are multi-layered cut files. And this is typically what we use when we're cutting something with a laser or cutting something with our cutting machine like our Cricut or our Silhouette. And we need these to be multi-layered so that our machine can read the outline of multiple different colors of material. So this is when you download a file and you see it has 5 different layers and you can manipulate those layers individually and changing their size or their orientation, and you can separate them out by color and cut them in different pieces. That is a multi-layered cut file, and that's usually called a vector file, and those are your .svg files and your .dxf files most commonly. So while those are a little harder to create, they're also the most common type of digital file that people want to buy, and so it's highly rewarding to learn how to make them. That being said, you could sell any combination of those types of files: stickers, sticker sheets, sublimation files, or multi-layered cut files. A bonus and kind of fifth type of file that people sometimes sell are template files. These are usually .svg files, but this would be like a Tumblr template or a tote bag template or a sublimation wrap template so that people know how to orient and organize their designs if they're creating on their own. This is kind of an offshoot, and I don't usually recommend getting started with these, but I just want you to know they exist. Okay, so that kind of lets you know what kind of files you could create. Now let's talk about how you can actually create them. If you're wanting to start with sublimation files or flat graphics like we talked about for sticker files or sublimation files, you're gonna be looking to create PNGs, JPEGs, or PDF files. So there's a couple places you can create those, but the first one I want to show you is Illustrate AI in designbundles.net. So let's hop over there and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so this is the Illustrate AI platform. You can find it on designbundles.net, and if you are a Plus member, you get access to Illustrate AI. I think this is a wonderful place to create stickers and sublimation files in a very easy way. And you can sell these files as long as you alter them in some way and make them your own. So we're gonna talk about how to generate the files, and then we're also gonna talk about how we can use Design Bundles software to then edit those files so that they are sellable. So the first thing we're gonna do is here on this Illustrate AI page, we're gonna put in a text prompt. So let's say I wanted to make a cartoon gnome with a summer drink in hand. I'm gonna try to make a sticker, and then we'll also show you how you could make a sublimation file out of this. And then under my art style, I'm gonna go down here and I'm gonna select digital art, and we're gonna have it bring up 4 images for us, and we want them to be square. That's totally up to you. We're gonna leave the rest blank. We don't need anything else there, and then we're gonna let it create for us. Okay, so you can see that it created a very realistic looking gnome. I actually don't love the look of that, so what we're gonna do is we're not gonna change our text prompt at all. We're just gonna go back to art style and we're gonna select something different. I'm gonna do it in watercolor. I might like that a little bit better. Let's see if it can do more kind of what I'm looking for. This is so much better. He's so cute. This would make such a good sublimation file, honestly, as is. You could go ahead and take this, like let's pick one that we like. I like this little guy. I can take this and then I can select edit right here, and it will open Design Bundle's own in-house editor, which is called Craft Designer. So you can see we've got a blank background. It's actually already set up perfectly to be a sublimation file. I could go ahead and download this, but I do need to make a couple of changes so that it is my own, which I can do via the editing options over here on the left-hand side. So I highly recommend playing with Craft Designer on your own, but you can see that we could add some text, we could remove the background, we could shift the scene, we can use Magic Extend to have AI generative fill additional areas of this scene. We can even magic fill and change things out for other objects, like if I wanted this mushroom to be something different. And then you can use masking just like you could on any other editing software. So that's how I might take this and edit it to become a sublimation file. But let's say I wanted to make it a sticker, and that is where Craft Designer also stands out, is it has a sticker maker feature, and I can select how thick I want the stroke to be and what color I want it to be. So maybe I decide I want it to be blue. You can also use the more advanced color selector here to get exactly the color that you're looking for. And then when you hit create, it's gonna outline your sticker into something that is much more usable as a sticker file to sell. So there you can see it's made my sticker background in the blue color I selected, and I could save and download right here from Craft Designer to turn this into a sticker that I wanted to sell, especially once I do a little more work to make this my own, whether by adding text or adding edited elements to make it more something that I created. But that's in a nutshell how you can use Illustrate AI and Craft Designer to create your own sublimation and sticker files to sell online. Okay, so Illustrate AI paired with Craft Designer is one option for you to create sublimation files and sticker files to sell online. Another option that I love, and I use more for SVG files, but you could use it for sublimation or sticker files as well, is Canva. So let's hop over there and I'll show you kind of how that works as well. Okay, so here we are in Canva, and the rules that apply if you're using Canva Pro to create sublimation files, sticker files, SVG files, whatever you want to create. The rules that apply are that you need to create something that is uniquely yours, and you cannot use pro elements in something that you're planning to sell as a digital file. So what I always do when I go into create in Canva is if I'm searching elements, like let's just use our gnome example. Let's say we wanted to use a gnome. I'm gonna go to the filtering option right here, and I'm gonna make sure that I'm only looking at free elements because I know I can't use pro elements in my design. Additionally, it's worth noting that if you're wanting to edit your sublimation files that you got out of Illustrate AI further beyond what you can do in Craft Designer, you can download those files, bring them into Canva, and do some additional editing there before you're ready to sell that design. Also, if you create stickers in Craft Designer or in Illustrate AI, you can bring those all into Canva to create a sticker sheet before selling as well. So that's a whole other option, and that's a tutorial for another time. But if you're interested in knowing more specifically about using Illustrate AI or more specifically about using Canva, please let me know in the comments below. We love to create things that you want to know about, and this video is really just an overview of passive income with digital files. But if you want me to go more into detail, I'm happy to do so. Just let me know below. Okay, so like let's say I'm gonna use this little bumblebee guy. Now, one of the rules is I need to create something that is my own, so I might want to go in here and find some flowers to put alongside him or even in his hat. I'm just doing this very quickly. This is really not something that I would want to utilize, but I'm just kind of giving you an idea here. And then obviously, what goes better with a gnome other than little mushrooms? So maybe I bring in some of those. And boom, here's my sublimation file that I love and I want to sell. So if I want to do that, I can then download it as a PNG, and I usually click the transparent background option because we don't want all this white space being part of our design. But I can download straight from here and then I could sell this file online. So I hope that gives you just a couple ideas about how you might use some software that's online already to create your digital files. But now let's talk about how you sell those digital files. One of the first things I always do when I'm getting ready to sell a digital file is understand what kind of files people are searching for, and also understand how I might name and describe that file so that people will actually be able to find it online amidst the millions of other designs that are out there. So I want to talk to you about two resources I love to use and I use all the time. One of those is answerthepublic.com, but what I usually like to do is I just use a Google search. You can also see what people are searching on YouTube or TikTok or even on Amazon, but I usually search something like t-shirt design or DIY t-shirt designs. And I might want to know, well, what kinds of things are people looking for in relation to that to help me understand what kind of file I might want to create that somebody would want to put on a shirt. So in a second, it's going to populate what that looks like. Great. Let's try something different. We're going to search SVG just to kind of see what people are searching for online in relation to SVG. And you can see that it's popped up a lot of things that people ask when it comes to SVGs, mostly about how to make an SVG or what kind of SVGs make sense for crafting. So a lot of these aren't really letting us know specifically about creating our own SVGs that people want. So we're going to try something else. Let's try graphic tee and see what comes up. Okay, so we searched graphic tee and it's showing me kind of what people search in relation to graphic tee. This isn't going to get you all the way home on what kind of design you create, but it is going to help because you can see that people usually search graphic tee for women, graphic tee for summer. So you may want to create some summery designs because these are things that are being searched right now. Graphic tee with orange. We've got some different color options here. What I highly recommend with Answer the Public is play with your search because sometimes you can really narrow it down to more exactly what you're talking about and more exactly what you're looking for. And when you're able to do that, you can get some really good ideas about what kind of files to create. In this case, it's mostly helping us understand who is looking for these designs. Playing with your search up here can really help you find exactly what you're looking for. The second thing I want to talk about that I always do before creating and listing my design is searching for good keywords to use in my titles and descriptions, and this tool will also help you understand what to create as well. This is Everbee. I do pay for Everbee, and I highly recommend paying for it if you're going to sell on Etsy, because essentially what Everbee does is analyzes products all across Etsy and tells you what is doing well and why it's doing well. And because of that, you're able to see what keywords tend to work, what tags tend to work, and what descriptions tend to work. We're gonna do Gnome SVG, and we're gonna kind of see what comes up here and what is doing well on Etsy right now in relation to this product. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to search by monthly revenue. You can see I'm looking to see what has been doing the best over the last month. And it looks like really it's these gnome shadow boxes. So let's look at that first. And when I click on it, it pops out here to say, this is a shadow box PDF, SVG file for Cricut projects. Okay, so I can look at this and already see kind of the keywords they're utilizing in their title that's really helping them get noticed. And I can also see what kind of file this is. This is a really unique file. This is something different that not a lot of other people are doing. And I'm able to see what tags they used on that product as well, which is super helpful. I can see how many people search for that particular tag and also how competitive that tag is. So even just from looking at this at a glance, you can see how incredibly useful this is. I can see exactly how much this product made in the last month, how many total sales they've had, and how long the listing has even been up. So because of that, I can look and see what I might want to create that also doesn't have a lot of competition or that I'm capable of creating. Looking at just one more here, let's take a look down here a little bit. We can also see this Mega Gnomes SVG bundle is doing pretty well. It looks like this is just a bundle of some pretty simple gnome designs, but again, they've made $257 in the last month just on this design. And here's all the tags they used, here's the title they use, and you can see how this would be really helpful to help you name and describe and tag your own items. Okay, so we've talked about creating our files, we've talked about naming, describing, and tagging our files, and how we do all of that to the best of our ability to make sure that our files get seen and sold. The next thing I want to talk about is platform. Where are you going to sell these files? This one's pretty quick. I really want to talk to you about just two options. The first is Etsy, and the second is selling on your own domain or your own website that you build via Shopify or some other platform. The main thing I want to tell you is if you're brand new and you don't have a huge social media presence or you don't have a huge email list already, I highly recommend at least starting on Etsy. Because Etsy is its own search engine, it's its own search platform, and people already go there for handmade files and handmade designs. So you're gonna get a lot more traffic off the jump if you use something like Etsy that people are accustomed to using and going to. On the flip side of that, if you have a decent amount of money to spend on Facebook ads or you have a decent following that you can convert to sales, go for selling on your own website where there are much fewer restrictions and where nobody's taking a cut of your profit. That's kind of a brief from top 10,000 feet overview of where you can sell your items. Make the best decision for you, but know that you can always shift in the future. Nothing you do on this regard is completely set in stone. Okay, the last thing I want to talk about is marketing your designs, because once you create your design, once you find a good title, description, and tags for your design, once you figure out where you're going to list your design, how do we actually get traffic to come purchase it? So I'm going to tell you a few different things you can do, and I'm also going to tell you my favorite thing to do that costs you no money. First, let's start with the more obvious ones though, and that is Facebook ads. Lots of people buy Facebook ads. I highly recommend them. I do not recommend them if you don't know how to run Facebook ads. So first, I would recommend taking a course or getting somebody to run those ads for you. But even running an ad for just $3 to $4 a day can really increase traffic to your Etsy page or to your own website where you're selling your designs and get more eyeballs on your product. Especially once you're a little bit established and have quite a few products to choose from, this is a great way to drive traffic to your page. The next option is Pinterest, and I honestly don't think people use Pinterest enough. I think it's still really an untapped platform that people underutilize, but pin every single one of your Etsy listings, pin every single listing on your website, create multiple pins out of each listing that look pretty. You can make them in Canva. There's even Canva templates for pins that you can use. There's softwares out there that will pin automatically for you, like Tailwind, and I highly recommend those if you have the budget to use them. But if you don't, just create your own pins. Get more eyeballs on your designs because people go to Pinterest all the time to look for crafty inspiration and SVG files. And wouldn't it be wonderful if when they went to do that, they saw your design file with a link to go buy it? Do not underutilize Pinterest. It is a gold mine for crafters and a gold mine for people who are primed to buy. So Pinterest is my second thing to tell you about. And my third and favorite thing to talk about is build an email list. It doesn't matter if you have 10 followers on social media or 10 million followers on social media. You don't own that audience because that platform could go away tomorrow. But email is not going away. And if you have people on your email list, you have primed people ready to buy your product that you can get in their inbox whenever you want to. So what I highly recommend you do before you even start selling your SVGs is create an SVG that you love, that you're obsessed with, and give it away to people for free in exchange for getting on your email list. This does you so much good for a few reasons. Number one, it's helpful because you're getting people on your email list that you know are interested in your product. They joined your email list because they wanted an SVG file. And what do you sell? SVG files. So you're right in the right market and you're getting the right people on your email list. The second is it's a great way to push other things like your social media, videos you create, and anything else that goes along with your crafty hobby and your crafty business because you know that you can get in their inbox anytime with inspiration, advice, value, education, all those other things. And third, you have them right in front of you to sell your products. So you can email them anytime you want, although don't overuse it and spam their inbox. but you can email them with new offers, coupons, new releases, new SVGs in your shop, new collections, etc., etc., etc. You know you'll get a hold of them regardless of what the algorithm is doing over on Instagram. Social media is an obvious place for you to talk about your SVG files and really just talk about crafting in general, but in terms of making sales, email is a much better spot to do it than social media will ever be. Okay, GB Bestie, with that being said, we have covered a lot in this video to talk about passive income. We've talked about what kinds of files you can create. We've talked about how you can create those files and what softwares you can use to do it. We've talked about what platforms you can sell on. We've talked about how to market those files, and we've even talked about how to make sure you're writing good titles, descriptions, and tags for your products and where to find those so you know you get the right eyeballs on your files. Again, we've covered so much in this video, so please let me know in the comments what you want to know more about. I would love to make more videos on this topic for you. I just need your help to know what to cover. So let me know in the comments below what interests you the most, and I would love to continue this series with you as we talk about generating passive income and turning your crafty hobby into a crafty business. It was so much fun having you here, DB Bestie. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon because we are back here every week with more videos. And you can follow me personally at It's Laura Lambert on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. I make my own crafty videos talking about crafty business tips and even giving you tutorials on the Glowforge, the Cricut machine, Canva, and so much more. So I would love to connect with you personally. With that being said, I can't wait to hear what you create. I can't wait to hear how you turn your crafty hobby into a business. But until next week, happy crafting.